Welcome to episode 1 of S&C Shite Talk. So this week we're going to go through basically just an introduction to ourselves, who we are, and 5 topics we've picked to go through. So we're going to start with our background. So Niall, do you want to talk to me about your background there?
Yeah, so I studied sports and exercise science in IT Carlow. That's where I met Adam first. So yeah, did the 4 years of that. Then went on to do a master's in strength and conditioning in Carlow as well. So yeah, so that's my education background really. I interned with the Cork senior hurling team in 2018. I think, yeah, 2018.
Yeah, that's in your college.
2017. Yeah, one of the two of them anyway. But yeah, so we would have been my first real involvement in a sports team, or like a high standard sports team anyway. Yeah, so mainly that was very, very minor role really. Just mainly worked with a lot of the people rehabbing a lot of the time, actually, just taking their running sessions and stuff, and then other things, lots of piss tests. The usual stuff. Then in the Mardyke Arena in Cork, so yeah, I got good experience there as well, kind of working with a lot of different types of things. So I would have just started off mainly on the gym floor there. So we designed a lot of programs for kind of older adults and just general population people, which was just good. It's great. Yeah. It's different to the, I suppose, sports side of things, because most people can't move at all.
Yeah,
like,
it's
really badly. So I suppose it was an eye opener really, because when you're used to working with good standard of athlete, or good standard even of gym goer, I suppose, it's just easier to program and stuff, and you know that the person can squat and deadlift and everything, rather than this person who can probably just about make it through a step up or something like that. Yeah, so we started out there. It's a lot different there. I don't know which is easier or which is harder, but yeah, they're both definitely different. But no, yeah, good experience there as well. And yeah, so we worked with UCC rowing then for a bit, in the Mardyke as well. So yeah, it's just doing their gym sessions. So that would have been back to kind of what I would know a bit more about, I suppose. So yeah, then COVID hit, and that kind of threw that in the head. So decided to start working for myself then. And then the third wave of COVID hit. And yeah, so it's been I suppose the last year has been kind of roller coaster really, but we'll get through it.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not for sure. What can we do? So what else is there? So yeah, currently just working with kind of people online. So we've a couple of online clients. So yeah, just programming online for them, kind of giving them as much help as I can. And I am with two hurling teams as well. Obviously they're not much happening with them at the minute. They just have their programs, and up to them to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's about it for me really, short and sweet.
I'll go through mine. So yeah, as you kind of said, we met in Carlow. I done the sports rehabilitation and athletic therapy course. So to much extent they were kind of similar to sports science up until we got to about second or third year. We started going more down the injury kind of front, and the assessment, diagnosis and rehab, that kind of thing. So yeah, I qualified in that. Well, yeah, it was 2018, wasn't it? 2019, is it?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
His theory finished. It feels like a long time ago now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we done 4 years there, and then in final year the same as now, we done work placement. So I done mine then with Wicklow GA. I was in their man of John Coyle. So he had the minor footballers, he had the hurlers, and he had the senior hurlers. So a guy who's more so involved with the minor footballers, from everything from getting them set up in pre-season to finally getting through our run in the Leinster Championship, and then also helped out with the senior hurlers for, you know, bits and pieces here and there. Yeah, like it was decent enough, like especially like at that age you're dealing with lads who are like your lads who are 16. I think that might have changed to 17. Was it that year? I think it's like you had lads in the squad who are 15 to 17 years of age. Like some had never even done any form of S&C work to, like, you know, some of them are only starting to come into a serious development squad kind of thing. Like, so it was challenging enough. Like there was an S&C coach there bringing them through stuff, so that wasn't all on my head, which was grand. But everything from the point of having to do rehab to match prep and all, it was, you know, it was a learning experience. Like as you said, going from a team to working with older adults, like it's the same thing. Going from a team to working with like nearly kids, like it's
it's just learning, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's you're doing things like you're used to going from, say, a college scene and working with lads who you know exactly what you're on about, to like kids who haven't a clue what you're talking to them. Yeah, like it's trying to develop cues and trying to develop things that make sense to them, which is completely different. But yeah, like I was there for, I'd say it was about 7 or 8 months from when we started in, I say, December, and we were knocked out in, was it June or so. So like, it was a long enough stint. Like so then John had the contract for Sylvester's GA in Dublin at the time as well. So it's up and down there every week between doing training sessions with them, and then, you know, they started their league campaign and worked with them for most of the, I think it was about halfway through the league campaign, and then things changed. So that's when I finished with them. So unfortunately didn't get to go through championship with them, which would have been interesting enough. Like, you know, we were going from Dublin Championship, which would have been a completely different kettle of fish. Like, not even just for seeing how we prepared, just seeing how everyone else prepared. Like that would have been the cooler part of it. But it wasn't to be. So that ended. Wicklow went on for a while, and then I suppose then we graduated into the big bad world, and, you know, we were just messing around with a couple of teams for a while of doing just pitch side cover, and then in last year just decided to go out by myself. So similar enough to you, that COVID hit, and well, COVID had hit, and I'd started during COVID more or less, which actually wasn't too bad. Thought it'd be a lot worse. It was kind of nearly a right time to start, just for people who are mad into exercise in that first lockdown. Like, so in that regard, like, it wasn't too bad. Injury wise and injury assessment wise was kind of weird and different. Like, there wasn't so many coming clinic based, or even to now, like, you know, the clinical based stuff isn't as intense. A lot of it is online stuff, similar to like your online program. Like, a lot of it is in that regard. So it's different. Like, it's nothing we learned. Like,
yeah. Are you doing online like physio assessments, like through like a Zoom call?
Yeah, like there's a couple that are doing, like, you know, online physio assessments. So like, it's, you know, a lot of it is video call. It's awkward. Like, no, there's some of them in that regard. A lot of the stuff is, even I'm doing a good bit of strength training too, like from the point of view of people who are trying to not get injured. There's a few who are coming, like, you know, in performance aspect. Yeah, there's a nice broad range there. So I suppose if you're trying to nearly compare AT of electric therapy to physio, like in my eyes, you're going to go down a different path there. If you're trying to compare AT to physio, you're nearly trying to compare people to, like, you know, there's always the argument of like, what's the difference between physios and ATs, and, like, you know, one gets preference over the other. I suppose with us, we kind of, like, what we were taught the whole way through was, like, you know, we're specializing in musculoskeletal stuff between assessments and rehab, and there's a lot of emphasis on rehab and S&C. So to me, like I think it's more worthwhile if that's what you focus on, like the thing you're really good at. Like why focus on trying to be like a physio? Like, why can't you focus on being someone who works in the more towards your end, like more towards your S&C kind of like orientated like region? Like, you know, that's what makes you different. So like, why not go, and what makes you different? Like, now a lot of other teams will have different views, and a lot of the same. Like that's going to be that way, like regardless of what field you're in. But it's challenging, but it's not too bad. Like,
Yeah,
it's manageable.
a learning curve, doesn't it?
Hardly. Well, it's a learning curve for everyone, regardless of how experienced you are, especially with COVID. Like,
Yeah.
for the most experienced practitioner out there, like doing stuff online is difficult in the first couple of times you do it. Everything from assessment to trying to like cue somebody exercise wise via a video call.
Yeah, that's hard, right, isn't it?
Completely different. Like you're coaching with words as opposed to actually trying to coach with, you know, demonstrations and movements and cues and stuff like in person. It's completely different.
Yeah.
It's probably the way things going to be for the foreseeable.
Yeah, I can't see it changing really, can you?
No, not entirely. So like, you have to just adapt and go with that.
Yeah, but at least a lot of people know that like they have invested in their own equipment and stuff. Does it makes it?
Yeah, like that's a massive thing. Like for our point of view, like trying to program for somebody or even rehab for somebody who has no equipment
that's impossible. Like, you know, it's just you're so limited, like in trying to progress things, and
like adherence is your big problem when no one has equipment.
Yeah.
It's only so much you can kind of convince somebody that bodyweight stuff is going to get them through things.
Yeah, and you can only change so much. Like, you know, there's only so much changing of like tempo and things like that you can do to.
Like, then I think more somebody's willing to really invest in themselves, like, and actually get equipment. The better their adherence and their progress is being everything, like even from rehab to their actual like performance and S&C programs, like, or even if you go like to the very basic of somebody who's just trying to actually move and get fitter, like their adherence is a lot more. It's better when you have all that kind of stuff there for them, like.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what kind of directed you to go down towards your career path?
Well, I don't really know, to be honest. So when I left school, I went to do an apprenticeship. So I was doing an apprenticeship as an electrician. So I did a year of that, and just wasn't for me. Wasn't happy. And then, so like I was always, you know, into sport. Obviously, I played sport. Was into fitness. Was into going to the gym and stuff. Always wanted to get better at my sport and try and improve. So I don't know. I just found the kind of area of sports science interesting. And how do you make athletes better? You know what actually does make athletes better? What's the difference between, say, like a top level athlete and me? Big difference. Yeah, but no. So that was kind of what directed me towards it, really. Then I suppose during college, you can get exposed to different kind of areas and of sports science. So like, you know, it's there's areas outside the sport that you can kind of work in. So things like you said, they're working with the youth athletes. So we were doing a lot of work in primary schools as well during college as part of assessments and stuff. So that kind of opens my eyes a bit to the other kind of avenues that are available that you can go into after doing a sports and exercise degree. So then obviously working in the gym as well can give you another kind of insight. But I suppose I always kind of wanted to be self-employed in some manner, because I don't know, I just like thought being my own boss, really.
Yeah.
And but it kind of lets you dabble in kind of all the different areas, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, you know, like in-person clients there, like, you know, you can go from working with, just say, a GA player 1 hour, and your X hour could be a 60-year-old woman with back pain or knee pain or something, and, you know, they're just coming in to get stronger and get a bit fitter and stuff, you know. So there's a lot of variety, and, you know, so that's. But yeah, I actually don't really know what probably directed me. Wasn't the money anyway.
Stop.
But no, hopefully that'll come too. But yeah, what about yourself?
Yeah.
You went to UCD first, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yes, like similar to you, like that wasn't my first course I done. I done sports and exercise management in UCD. Like, so it was basically just sports business. Everything from like the marketing side and to the promotional side, and, you know, like similar to you, like the both of us were into sports as kids, like, but so doing something in sport always had that kind of appeal. So I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do, so just mixed a sport and a business kind of degree, and I went with that, and I absolutely fucking hated it.
Yeah.
It was not what I wanted to do at all. I think there was only 1 or 2 lectures, or we had it that was anything to do with the body, and that was the only thing that really interested me. Other than that, it was boring. Like, it just wasn't for me. So I dropped out. I decided to drop out in February of that year, and I ended up staying and finishing the course, or finishing the year, for God knows what reason. And reapplied to the CEO and done the athletic therapy course in Carlow. Now, what directed me that way was probably, I'd say it was probably just because I was so injury prone from being a kid. Like, even the lads know as well, like, that I'd done my cruciate 3 times. Like, so I think the first one was 15, so I didn't even know what my body was about at 15. Like, then second one was 15, so I was 17. So at that stage, just getting towards the end of, like, you know, leaving certain what I wanted to do in college. So I suppose in that regard, it's probably what directed me to do something sporty. Realizing what I didn't want to do in my actual course I got after leaving cert, and that being more interested in my rehab as that kind of progressed through that first year in college kind of made me a bit more interested in learning about my own body. And I suppose trying to stop it happening again, which didn't happen. So yeah, that happened, and then the third one snapped. What was it? The first couple of months of college.
Yeah, I remember that. I was at that training session, actually.
Yeah, it's a fresher trial game, wasn't it? Yeah.
Jesus, yeah.
That was the third one. So I suppose if I had gone to college in Carlow that year earlier, I might have been able to avoid that one. So maybe UCD was the problem. That way, I actually.
That was it. Yeah, UCD.
I never thought of it that way, but no, that couldn't be it.
Yeah.
But no, I suppose that was probably the thing that directed me. Like, I was, like, the both of us probably the same. We were playing sports when we were a kid, so it's probably been in us at some stage to do something sport. Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely say doing my rehab for that probably just directed me more so towards it. I think I was actually interested in doing the S&C course before I done the AT course. Why I done the AT course is actually, I actually don't know. I couldn't tell you why I picked one over the other.
I think I was actually thinking about doing the athletic therapy one as well, but I don't know why I'd be doing.
Yeah, I have.
Why I did sports science as well. Yeah.
I suppose if you did the fact that we both done the opposite ones, is probably gives us a broader point of view. Like,
yeah,
nearly glad I've done the AT, because now I can kind of view things from both sides. Like,
yeah,
which is nice. Like, and even like, I think being with you guys down there, and even like watching like what you do in sports science wise, we kind of all got a scope of each other's stuff, which was nice.
Yeah, I think so actually. Yeah, because there was a good suppose it was a good group of us, like as friends as well, kind of all in the same thing.
Yeah,
So we all kind of
we're literally all doing the same course, aren't
we
we?
kind of taught each other, to be honest.
To be honest, that's exactly what it was, isn't it?
Yeah.
One was good at one subject, one was shit at the other one, and that's how it all evolved.
Yeah. Scroll through it.
Yeah. But no, that's probably what's attracted me that way. Other than that, just
I think most people who go into this kind of into courses like that, they kind of everyone goes in it for the same reason, like they had. It's all because people
everyone has an
sport,
interest, and sure you've seen as you went through the years, like of who left and who didn't leave. Like you can see like who things were inclined to go towards. Like those who were sporty had an interest, like, were the ones who stuck things through. Like
there was a lot fell by the wayside,
especially in your one.
Yeah. What was it? How many did we lose? It was 7 or 8 in it or something. It could have been more.
Yeah, and that's not to say for anybody who actually starts to watch this that like it's a shit course. It just just wasn't for everybody.
It just happens. Yeah, it just happens. It was nothing to do with the course. It was just. I suppose a lot of people go into it not knowing what it actually is to them.
Yeah, I think especially with sports science, like a lot of people who are just into sport just pick sports science.
Yeah, they forget about the science part.
Yeah, but like it is mad, especially like I think when we were in, or even before you start, like you have this view of you're going into college and you're going to be, you're going to, like I'm going to be like an AT, or I'm going to be treating all these people with injuries, blah blah blah, and it's only kind of when you get to like say our final year or like the year you actually leave where you realize that things are so much more like interlinked. Like the fact that like going from AT to S or S&C in sports science, it's literally part of one big cycle. Like, and I think people get too fixated like when they're in college. It's like, this is what I'm going to be. Like I'm going to be an AT, or I'm going to be an S&C coach, or I'm going to be a sports scientist. And they've all these views of if you're going to be a sports scientist, you're going to work with teams of doing all this testing and working in labs, and because that's what you're kind of showing. Like first and second year,
what you're going to do. Like,
we're in labs. You're doing blood tests. You're doing lactate threshold tests. VO2 max tests, and
you actually leave though.
It's mad.
It's rare enough like this. You're going to be seeing it really.
Like you learn so much more nearly after you leave than when you're actually there for the first 4 years. Like.
Yeah, definitely.
Or like how broad of a scope the whole general scene is, health, fitness, and S&C wise. It's massive.
Yeah, it is. It is huge. You're going to have to be a generalist, don't you?
Especially when you're saying like a range from 6-year-old athletes, or
I
call everyone athletes. Like everyone's an athlete regardless. Like you're going from a 6-year-old person, you can't do anything, to a kid or to an actual professional athlete. It's completely different. Like same theories, but everything is madly different.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But like, what way is your situation working now? I know with COVID and everything, you couldn't do. You had lined up an actual slot, didn't you, in the gym?
Yeah. So I was just going to renting the use of the gym for however many hours a week I was going to be working 1-to-1. But obviously COVID has put a halt to that. So yeah, that's been put on hold until things open up. So yeah, just working online. I use you train Heroic. You use it as well, don't you?
Yeah, I done the same one. Yeah.
So I use that. I do all my programming with that. And then sort of just check-ins weekly and stuff. Just checking with how they're getting on. Whatever. Just provide whatever support people need, really.
Yeah.
So there's most of my clients are some way involved in sport, so they're all reasonably similar. So that makes life a bit easier at the minute. I don't have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Variation.
Yeah,
it's just it's kind of hard though. I wouldn't mind, like I'm looking forward to being able to go back into in-person coaching because I don't know. It's just not that it's easier or one's easier than the other. It's just
it's more enjoyable nearly. Like
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a bit more enjoyable. But no. I mean, finding it okay. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not as I'm lucky enough. All my clients have their own equipment and stuff, and so I'm not doing any kind of just body weight programs and trying to progress body weight stuff and that, and they don't have to try and like last resorts, like fill in a backpack full of water bottles or something like that. You don't have to do any of that. But yeah, so I'm lucky enough in that way, and it's going okay. Happy enough. But then the two teams I'm working with, then I haven't a whole lot of contact with them at the minute, just because things are so up in the air. So they have their running programs, gym programs, home workout programs, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it's up to them. They'll hopefully work through that, and we'll reconvene when we can and work from there.
Yeah. I suppose my setup's kind of similar to yours at the minute. So yeah, using that same trainer workout just for all the programming and delivering the rehab programs and all.
Makes life easier, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. Like I was using Excel, I suppose, for the first while, and it can be okay. Like, and I don't mind using it too much. I think just for the actual, from the athlete's point of view, I think it's easier for them to have an app on their phone these days. A lot of people are still like that. They like using the logbook and logging things in the logbook, but I think there's a lot of people who still like the convenience of having the app. So I think in that regard, it works nicely for even for adherence sake. Like they can log their stuff and we can see them. But no, I've kind of gone towards that kind of side of things. I have a few people who come and go every now and then for getting like injury rehab stuff and assessment stuff. There is some who are like kind of reluctant to come in person due to the whole COVID situation, which is completely understandable. Like even with all the protocols of masks and everything, it's just people are just uncomfortable with it. So a lot of the stuff's gone to online, even assessment stuff. Like people will ask questions and we'll have video calls and video interactions with stuff online, or even just calls over the phone, just whatever way kind of suits people. But then I kind of took the approach of, so obviously business is going to be scarce if you can't get everyone to come into the clinic in person. So you kind of have to branch a little bit. So I took the view of, if you're using rehab and S&C stuff to get people back from an injury, why can't we take that approach if things happen in the first place? So I know it's similar to doing S&C programs with people, but like a lot, I don't have many who are at the minute who are like top athletes. There's one or two who are doing pretty well and is playing GA, so they're like on the kind of performance aspect of things. Most people are like, say, lads who are want to get back to football. Some of the girls want to get back and running and doing that kind of stuff. So like in that regard, again, like just everything from mobility work to strength work that they wouldn't have done before. That's kind of where a lot of them are at. And then you've some of the general pop there who are just looking to get like in better shape. They're looking to try shift that little bit of weight, try to get a little bit fitter, and hope to not get injured along the process. So it's kind of the approach I kind of took was, if you can treat everybody as an athletic person and let them train with all the athletic capabilities that most people should have. So, I think everyone's doing some form of, everyone's doing some form of jumping, some form of say squatting, hinge movements, pushing and pulling, the same as your normal program, just directing it towards why can't everyone do it? And if everyone can try to take that approach, and it can improve them in the future so that they don't get injured, as everyone's trying to get more active now. And if everyone can move better, you're reducing the chance of injury happening. I know that kind of like puts people ahead of work then if you don't get anyone injured, like you not in work. But like I think getting everyone moving better is probably like the best way to go with things. Like even if it's from an SSC point of view, like I think if everyone moves better, you have less chance of injury and you have a happier person overall. Like they can achieve more. Whether that's someone who's 6 years of age, like, and if anything, it's probably more important for someone who's 6 years of age to be able to move properly and to be able to actually like load things up. So, and like I've had one or two more come in that regard who are older to try and get on top of getting a little bit stronger, which is nice to see, especially from like, you know, the older population who like, wouldn't be so inclined to go and do strength and conditioning work. So that's kind of like surprisingly happy. Like, and it's nice seeing them kind of progressing that way. Like, but yeah, as I said, everything's online now. Everything is through an app or through video calls or through check-ins with people. But it's completely different.
Yeah, it's definitely different already, isn't it?
Yeah. Like it, and in some way, it is still enjoyable. Like you're still helping people.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think nothing can replace doing that in person. Like you're seeing people progress in front of you every single day when it comes to doing strength work. When it comes to like the rehab of being able to do something they weren't able to do the last day. Or even when like from a point of view of someone who is in like the higher end category of people who can do stuff, like seeing them, you know, get really, really strong, seeing them get really fast. And even like seeing them like lean down like to perform better, like that is very rewarding and enjoyable. It's different online. You don't see it as much. You don't get as much satisfaction. Well, you do get satisfaction out of it, just not as much as seeing it actually unfold in front of you.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's different. Like it's probably going to be the way we are for a while. Like,
looks like it, unfortunately.
I suppose like the more we can refine our online process, the better things might be for all of us. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Like it's realistically the way forward. Like as you said, like people having equipment at home, like it's the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future. So
yeah,
I think finding ways and means around perfecting that service to people is probably like currently where both of us are kind of at, I'd say.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Right, I suppose one more topic. Let's be interesting enough. What's your favorite thing about the job, your career, and the industry? And which is probably more interesting. What's your least favorite?
So I suppose my favorite is probably the variety of work that you can actually do once you actually realize the variety that's there. You know, as you said, you can literally work with the 10-year-old children up to an 80-year-old adult, you know, so there's massive variety. So, you know, everything, and every person you deal with is different as well. They have a different problem, or they have different goals, or they're, you know, different capabilities and everything. So, you know, it's just constant variety. Everything is changing. No day is going to be the same. Bar at the minute, every day is the same. But
Tell me about it.
Every day is different, and you know, it's just and then the least favorite thing, least favorite probably. What was that?
This could probably turn into a rant. Let's say from the.
It could, but we'll try not. We'll try not to. I suppose it's just like the lack of like regulation. If regulation is the right word.
Yeah.
So like I've done 5 years of college, but there's someone who can do a 8-week personal training gym instructor course, and they're kind of technically able to do the same as me, same job as me, you know. So I think that's definitely my least favorite.
I think especially something out online, that's a massive thing. Like,
yeah, definitely. Like everyone, there's every second person is an online coach now. You know, it's true. But yeah, it's just, you know, how can you, like, I actually did a PT course. Like, you need to do a PT course so you can get a job in a gym, even though I did a 4-year sports science degree.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I did an online one, like, it was like ridiculously easy, like how it does not prepare you to.
Like, even with, you went and done a master's in S&C, so even with the master's, like, you still couldn't work in.
I don't think so, as far as I know. I think it's something to do with insurance or something, or you have to be registered with reps, something like that. But it's just, I don't know, the whole thing doesn't make sense. Like
you done 6 years, so
yeah, but
work, like.
But yeah, that's definitely that's my least favorite thing. Yeah, but would you?
List, like. But yeah, no, like I'd say similar. Like, my favorite thing is probably, I think, helping people. I didn't really think I'd enjoy helping people as much. Like, and I don't even mean like coming from an injury being like, oh yeah, we treat X, Y, and Z. Like, I think just in general of making them feel better. Like, and I think the more we view, like, if I'm coming from a point of view of an injury stuff, I think the more we view the injury and why the injury happened as an entire lifestyle, as opposed to being like, oh, you were out for a walk and you pulled your quad. Like,
yeah.
The more you start to view that as an entire lifestyle of being like, right, like someone might have like back pain. Like, and you've been, instead of just being like, right, you have back pain because you're moving in this way, or because you've done this and like your back started to get sore. The more we look at it as a lifestyle, being like, right, what do you do on a daily basis? Like, you know, how do you feel about yourself and how do you carry yourself, like, from mood to everything? I think that has such a more of an impact on things. I think I've only noticed that more so when I've gone online, because you're getting, like, we're doing the check-in things, people, and you're seeing,
yeah, and you know, you can see things are linking in, like, aren't they?
Yeah, like, it's like things are linking so much more. Like, you just get like such a broader sense of how, like, one thing might lead to another thing, especially if people are, say, stressed and anxious. Like, the more times that leads to people getting injured is ridiculous. Like, just from things of the way, like, you know, they might have like a really flared rib cage from just being really anxious, and like that, like, really shallow breathing, like, to all of a sudden that happens, it has an impact on them, like people getting, say, back pain or hip pain. So instead of even addressing being like, right, you have hip pain, we'll do this. No, if you can just get you to like, what's your stressor, like, what's causing you to be stressed and anxious.
Yeah.
Approach from that point of view. And some of that is just literally, it could be things from poor sleep, like, could be things to like nutritional aspects, like. And I think the more that we look to those links as opposed to just an injury thing, like, it's going to change a lot of different things, like. And like, you probably know some of the stuff yourself, like, from people's habits of sleep and how it affects mood and everything else as well. Like, it's just.
Yeah, it's definitely, you'll always notice, like, yeah, you'll definitely notice it, like, when you've seen the check-in, if their, like, sleep is poor, their mood is going to be poor, their energy is going to be poor.
Yeah.
And you'll even see that across, like, their training logs. Then, like, you know, there'll be, I don't know, say like a squat won't be as heavy as it was last week or something like that. You know, it'll be.
Even on the other scale, like, if you have someone who, as you said, like, they have poor sleep and they have poor energy, like, and they go out and they try to do, say, if we've got a programmed in a sprint session.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like you're sprinting on a body who either you might not have fueled properly, might not have slept in the last 2 days, and you're going to do a maximal sprint session, like, you know, the most taxing thing on the body. And all of a sudden, you're like, right, I'm after, like, say, tweaking my hamstring, or I'm after, I don't know, hurting yourself in some way. Like, it's just, I think everything is so linked from every point of view to, if we just, instead of, like, you know, trying to, like, break things down into different sections, I think the more, like, it combines into one whole entire process, I think the better, like, everything will be, like. But yeah, like, definitely, like, seeing people improve in that regard, I think, is definitely the most enjoyable thing. Like, it just gives you satisfaction to know that you're actually helping someone, like.
Yeah. People usually like they're grateful after too, you know.
Yeah, it's really, they don't realize what they could have done, and it's just like realistic. We're doing sweet fuck all. Like, you know, we're literally just putting together. Like,
it's just,
a process. Like we're not actually doing anything, especially now online. We're not doing anything in person. It's just you're doing all the work by yourself. We literally just outlined how you get there.
Yeah.
And like, what it is, it's nice. Like seeing people have that satisfaction, or seeing people going away. Like say, like they worked for 6 or 8 weeks or something with you. Like, and after 6 or 8 weeks, like they're probably in such a better position than they were, and they can actually take control of things, from training wise to rehab wise to even looking at themselves nutrition wise. Like it's just, like, I know, like you don't like to see customers leaving, but if you train them to be able to leave in a better place, like, you're doing something right there in that regard.
Exactly.
I suppose as for the least favorite things, there's numerous things we could both agree on, I think.
Yeah.
I think, as you touched on, like definitely the social media aspect of it is, like, it can be fantastic, it can be great. Like we've both of us have kind of grown our business through social media, but I think there's the other end of it as well, which is just an absolute disaster. I think the worst thing is not being able to have a civilized conversation with somebody without them thinking that you're so far on one side of it. Like,
I know, yeah.
Wise, like, you know, like the fitness industry gets absolutely ridiculed anyway, let alone being ridiculed by 2 people from the same industry, like trying to fight the same thing.
I know,
but again, it's hard because you have people out there who are putting so much shit out there, and it's just, you're kind of torn between the aspect of, do I just do me and stay to what I'm doing, or do I, like, because you're so interested in helping people, it's, do I try help them by telling them that this is the bullshit stuff to go away from, or do I just stick to what I'm doing and go on?
I know, yeah.
And like you're torn between the two.
It's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's hard. Like you don't blame people for buying into it, because like they're not going to know about it. It's not something that they do. Like they're probably an accountant or a bank person or something. Like, and they're not going to know the difference. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's just mad how shit sells. Like if somebody who
it really does, doesn't it?
It's mad. Like especially as you were saying, like, you can be a 6-week PT who's, you know, they've gone to the gym for 2 years and they've lost a shed load of weight and they've got, you know, into good shape, and all of a sudden they're like, oh no, I can do this as a living. Like I'll go and grow my booty program. Or,
that's it. Yeah.
Here's my six pack. Like look at me. Like build big arms and big chest like I do. Like, and
they're just selling off that. Like it's just.
Oh, it's absolutely outrageous. Like, or even from the point of view, like if you have people who like will post informative shit constantly, like, and it's like, I know I've learned so much just from Instagram of following, like, you know, smart people and seeing how they operate and how they view things.
Exactly.
But then you have people who just, like, you know, as your typical 6 day week PTs, who'll put up a picture or put up a post of them doing something absolutely outrageous, and it's just for clickbait, like, you know, you're doing some really mad heavy lifting shit, you're doing some really weird push-up variations, like what's the point? Like,
yeah, that's it. There's just so much, they do so much pointless stuff, and it's just like,
yeah, it gets people bite, and people end up paying them for that.
That's it. Yeah.
I suppose from an actual practical point of view and a field-based point of view, there's, like, don't get me wrong, like social media is a lot of the issues, but you have coaches in person who are doing so much.
Exactly, yeah.
I think the one big thing that still gets me to this day is the coaches who get their teams doing a big circle full of stretches before games and training. Like, that's the one.
Yeah. Warm-ups are just, they're just terrible usually, aren't they?
Yeah, like you don't mind, let's say, managers and coaches of teams who have nothing to do with fitness, like having this is what they were taught years ago and that's what they do. Fair enough, that's fine.
And they just keep going.
But it's when you have coaches and that who are actually brought in with that purpose, and they're still doing it.
I know.
I don't know if you see much of still down there, but like around here you still see it a couple of times. Like, and it's just it drives you mad. Like, you know, you have coaches these days who are still getting lads like men in a circle stretching. Like we'll stretch out before we go and do our fucking session. Like, and
No.
like in your head, you're thinking like what have you, like you're in the same industry I'm in, like you're reading the same stuff I'm reading. Well, should be reading some of the same stuff. Like, and I think that's just a pet peeve. That's probably not going to go away. It's probably always going to be there. Like,
but as well, another thing actually that annoys me is that, you know, like GA clubs will pay crazy amounts of money for a coach who has no qualifications or no education in it, but he's just been coaching for 30 years and just so happened to win a couple of championships.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they won't pay an S&C coach to come in to actually take care of side of things. Like, you know, when you have when you bring in your hurling or football coach, and they're just doing everything. So they're doing all the fitness, all the hurling, all everything, and like it's just some of the stuff that they don't seem. I don't know, my own experience of what some coaches know. There's some excellent coaches too. That they don't, they're not willing to learn or like adapt from what they had done 10, 15 years ago when they started coaching. They're still coaching teams the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's just another.
It's definitely a big one, but I think especially when you're on with the coaches being paid. I don't think any other, I'd say like industry. I call it an industry, but I don't think any other like probably industry are expected to do things for free as much as people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many times I'd say I've been asked to do stuff for free, or I'd say you've been the same. Like you see it everywhere else. Like jobs are advertised for. So it was there last year. I think it was Kildare GA had like, you know, Kildare be one of the bigger counties in the country, like, and they had an advertisement looking for a physio. And it was literally just expenses was the only payment they were offering. Like if that's happening at inter-county level, and like I know what happens at clubs too. Like at clubs, it's so many clubs that just want things for free. Yeah, they'll pay their managers a couple of tens of thousands a year. Like
that's it, yeah.
And it's mental. Like you wouldn't see an accountant, or you wouldn't see, say, a farmer doing things free of charge. Like, you know, no one's out in the morning next to cows, like, and doesn't expect to get paid for it.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? But yeah, it's just
especially in a healthcare field to be expected to do that for free. Like,
yeah, it's ridiculous, really. But sure.
Like even if you think from a match day cover point of view, like if anyone's covering a match day, and God forbid somebody goes up and, you know, it's a clash of heads and your man's knocked out, like, or like the woman's knocked out. Yeah. And like their first form of care is the AT or the physio or whoever is there. And some clubs are expecting people to do that for free. Like you basically have that person's, if it's a really, really serious case, that person's life could be in your hands, like as like their first source of care before like the actual like medics come, like. And like some people are expecting you to do that job for free, like.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know, it's just
like no other sector would do stuff like that for free, like.
No.
Then on the other hand, like, is you have to, or you won't get any business.
yeah. It's just
it's no winning, really, is it?
Yeah.
Like, even with S&C coaches, like, and like I seen a thing there on, I think it must have been LinkedIn. I think it was, I don't know, it was yesterday, the day beforehand, of the situation in America. There's a guy who'd done an S&C undergrad, done an S&C masters, and he was just finishing his PhD. So what's that? Probably 7 or 8 years, like, and he'd only just got his first paid job. And I was like,
how do you?
But as you say, it's because there's just the regulations are just so shit that anyone's walking into jobs. Like, you know, you're not going to get paid for them, like, which is just like, it's just the way it is. And I think that until people start saying no, that they're not going to do those jobs for free, like, nothing's going to change. But then, you know, no one's ever going to get a job to keep saying no is the only problem. Like, so it's like, where do you start? It's where do you make your stance?
Exactly. I suppose that's the one advantage of going and I suppose working for yourself and starting your own business is that you kind of have to get paid, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like
It's not, you know, yeah.
It's a real massive eye opener actually going by yourself, like, you know, working for yourself, and it's like, how do you actually go about getting your business? Like,
Oh, it's definitely a very steep learning curve, but
yeah, like it's like you can learn everything you want about doing, like coaching someone or rehabbing an injury, but when it comes to actually trying to promote yourself in your own business, it's a complete different.
It's very, very, very difficult, isn't it?
Complete different scale. No, I think this could definitely turn into a rant about the things you don't like the most.
Yeah, I don't know how we better.
We could have done a whole episode of things that we hate about.
Jeez, definitely. Yeah, we'll do that down the line.
Yeah, that can be the next couple of you.
Yeah.
No, I think that's already a nice first episode.
Yeah, got us off the mark anyway. And
look, I hope someone got something from it. Like, someone might find some sort of things interesting from it, and we can come up with more topics as we go along.
Yeah, exactly. So
if anyone who does listen that has any sort of suggestions, please fire away to one of us.
Exactly.
Anything you want covered.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Come to decide that the things that I tried were in my life just to get high on. When I sit alone, come get a little known, but I need more than myself this time. Step from the road to the sea to the sky, and I do believe that we rely on. When I lay it on, come get to play it on, all my life to sacrifice. Hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, I got your hey, oh, now listen what I say, oh, when will I know that I really can go to the well one small time to decide on when it's killing me? When will I really see all that I need to look inside? Come to believe that I better not leave before I get my chance to ride. When it's killing me, what do I really need? All that I need to look inside. Hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, come back and hey, oh, look at what I say, oh. The more I see, the less I know, the more I like to let it go. Hey, oh, whoa, whoa. Deep beneath the cover of another perfect wonder, where it's so white as snow, privately divided by a world so undecided, and there's nowhere to go. In between the cover of another perfect wonder, and it's so white as snow, running through the field where all my tracks will be concealed, and there's nowhere to go. Oh! When to descend to amend for a friend all the channels that have broken down. Now you bring it up, I'm gonna ring it up just to hear you sing it out. Step from the road to the sea to the sky, and I do believe what we rely on. When I lay it on, come get to play it on, all my life to sacrifice. Hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, I got your hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, the more I see, the less I know.